Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My dear brothers and sisters, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. This is part 6 of my video lecture on immunity from jurisdiction. So I was discussing about the immunity from civil jurisdiction, and as far as civil jurisdiction is concerned, the immunity is not absolute. Not absolute. There are 3 exceptions. In these 3 exceptional circumstances, a diplomat cannot be immune from jurisdiction, and he can be taken action and put before the court of the receiving state, the court of the receiving state for trial purposes. He is not immune. So what are the 3 exceptional cases? A real action relating to private immovable property situated in the territory of the receiving state. A real action means, in common law term, action in rem, action against property, and mainly referring to immovable property. So this immovable property, house or building, something like that, must be private immovable property and situated in the territory of receiving state. And also this diplomat must hold the property in his private capacity, not on behalf of the sending state or not for the purpose of the mission. If he holds this on behalf of the sending state for the purpose of the mission, then he will be immune. It will be immune from jurisdiction. But this diplomat hold this private immovable property as in his private capacity for his own personal purpose, then he will not be immune from jurisdiction and he will be taken legal action. For example, he rented an apartment to do some business purposes, to perform some business purposes for his private as a private matter, then he will not be immune for any civil action for the breach of the lease agreement or for the payment of the rentals or something like that. He will not be immune and he will be taken legal action before the courts of the receiving state. And the second exception is an action relating to succession in which the diplomat is involved as a private person, not on behalf of the sending state. So this is a succession case, inheritance case. So that diplomat's father died and he has to succeed the father's property or assets, then and he go to court, then he will not be immune from any jurisdiction of the court. So he will be subject to the jurisdiction of the court because he is involved in this succession case as a private person, not on behalf of the sending state. The third exception is a very famous exception. An action relating to any professional or commercial activity, exercised by the diplomatic agent in the receiving state outside his official function. This is important. So he is, for example, he is a law graduate. So he has a law degree and he has also a license. So that's why when he is as a diplomatic agent, he wants to get some extra money, so he do some consultation work with private companies, and then he involved in this breach of contract case with the company. So he will not be immune from jurisdiction because he involved in this transaction with the private company in his private capacity and for his own personal, professional or commercial purpose. This is outside of his official function as a diplomatic agent. So that's why he will not be immune from jurisdiction. Okay, so this is very important. Must be any action related to professional or commercial activity outside his official functions, in his own personal capacity, in his own private capacity. He is involved in some professional or commercial activity, then he will not be immune from jurisdiction of the courts of the receiving state. So you have to be very thorough about these 3 exceptions. Then only you will be able to answer question on immunity. Okay, I will summarize again. Immunity from civil jurisdiction, 3 exceptions. 3 exceptional cases where there is no immunity. Action relating to private immutable property hold in his private or personal capacity. A succession case involved as a private person. An action relating to professional or commercial activity outside his official functions. So these are the three exceptional cases where the diplomat has no immunity. Okay, so the next point is also a very important point, known as waiver of immunity. And this is also one of the important redress or remedies for the victims of the crime or civil action against a diplomatic agent. So diplomatic agents are immune from jurisdiction, but if the sending state or the head of the diplomatic mission waive the immunity of that diplomatic agent, this diplomatic agent is no longer protected by immunity. Since he is no longer protected by immunity, he can be arrested and he can be taken action and he can be brought before the court for trial purposes. That's why this is very important point, an option for the victims of the crimes or civil cases, by victims of the crimes or civil cases, which can take action against a diplomatic agent. In what way they can have any redress or remedies? Article 32, Clause 1. The immunity from jurisdiction of the diplomatic agent may be waived by the sending state. And 32, Clause 2, waiver must always be expressed. It must express, meaning it must be normally in writing. A Malaysian case, PP versus Orhan Olmecs case. Now the next point is persons entitled to diplomatic immunity. Immunity in respect of persons are provided in Articles 29 to 36. In all these articles, the beneficiary of the immunity is mentioned as a diplomatic agent. A diplomatic agent. So that's why, what is a diplomatic agent? It means that diplomatic agents are entitled to all these immunities from Articles 29 to 36. So who is a diplomatic agent? So we have to refer to the definition interpretation article, that is Article 1. Article 1, interpretation of terms. Article 1E. A diplomatic agent is the head of the mission or a member of the diplomatic staff of the mission. It is either the head of the mission or member of diplomatic staff of the mission. Then what is the member of diplomatic staff? They are the members of the staff of the mission having diplomatic rank. So normally, the embassy or the diplomatic mission, they always submit the names of the staff who have diplomatic rank to the foreign ministry of the receiving state. So this is called, we call it diplomatic list. And those who are in the list are having diplomatic rank, and they are regarded as diplomatic agents, and they are entitled to privileges and immunity. So that's why, because of this, the interpretation of terms, Article 1D and 1E, so we can summarize now. The term diplomatic agent includes, number one, the head of the mission, number one. So there are three ranks, three stages of the head of the mission. The highest is, we call the ambassador. Ambassador is the highest category of head of the mission, and only for important states we send ambassador level. And then the second level of the head of state, head of mission, is envoy extraordinary or minister plenipotentiary. So this is the second level. And the third level is the chargé d'affaires. The chargé d'affaires. Chargé d'affaires means interim head of the mission. When the head of the mission, either the ambassador or envoy or minister, is on leave, he went back to his home country, then he will leave one senior diplomatic agent as a temporary interim head of the mission. Temporary head of the mission. This temporary head is known as, in French term, chargé d'affaires. Chargé d'affaires. This is interim head of the mission. So there are three types of head of the mission. Number two, the staff of the mission having diplomatic rank. What staff of the mission have the diplomatic rank? Number one, the counselors. The counselors are same level as ministers. That's why they are called, sometimes they are called counselor ministers. This is the highest, after the head of the mission, this is the highest level of diplomatic agent. And then the second is the secretaries of the diplomatic mission. So the secretaries are not like secretaries in other private companies and companies. They are very high level diplomatic agents. There are 3 grades of secretaries: the first secretary, the second secretary, and the third secretary. 3 grades of secretaries in a diplomatic mission. And then the third is we call attaché officers. Attaché officer. Do you remember attaché case? One big hard cover bag. We call attaché bag. Attaché case. Attaché case. So attaché officers are those experts. Experts. Those experts which are assisting the diplomatic mission or the embassy or the high commission. So there are many types of attaché officer. We have military attaché. Military attaché is normally at the level of colonel level. The military officer at the rank of colonel is appointed as military attaché in embassies. And we have cultural attaché, we have education attaché, something like that. There are many attaché as far as necessary. The diplomatic mission or embassy can appoint attaché officers, and these attaché officers are also the staff of the mission having diplomatic rank, and they are diplomatic agents. Okay, so all these are within the meaning of diplomatic agents. So this is important. Why? Because whenever you answer the questions on immunity, especially diplomatic immunity, you start with whether the person in the question is entitled to diplomatic immunity, privileges and immunities or not. So that's why you start with this. This person is referring to Article 1D, 1E, and also this explanation here. You have to see whether that person is a diplomatic agent or not. Okay. Then the details, the more details of this person's entitled diplomatic immunity can be found in Article 37. In Article 37, first paragraph, the members of the family of a diplomatic agent forming part of his household shall, if they are not nationals of receiving state, enjoy the privileges and immunities specified in Articles 29 to 36. When we talk about immunity, privilege and immunities, not only diplomatic agents. Now you can see here now Article 37 clause on very clearly say family. The family also are entitled to inviolability and also privilege and immunity. You can see from Articles 29 to, that is 29 is personal inviolability. So that's why you cannot touch, you cannot violate even a son of a diplomat, a wife of a diplomat. They are inviolable, same as diplomatic agent. So their immunity, privilege, immunity is same as diplomatic agent. So, but the what here is to be careful here is family of a diplomatic agent forming part of his household, forming part of his household. This one is important. If diplomatic agent has a wife, not more than one wife, like maybe a Muslim diplomatic agent, he has more than one wife. Wife number 1 and wife number 2. He's appointed to Japan as a diplomat, ambassador, and he bring wife number 1 only to Japan. So now in Japan, who is staying with him? Only wife number 1 only. That wife number 1 only is entitled to diplomatic immunity because she is now forming part of his household. So this is important. And then they enjoy all the privileges and immunities from Article 29 to 36, same as diplomatic agents. And now number 2, members of the administrative and technical staff of the mission. Administrative and technical staff of the missions are, for example, they are computerists, typists, technicians, computer technicians, and then the cipherists, those who decode the ciphers. Cipherists, all these are called administrative and technical staff of the mission. And also, like the first one, together with their families, their family also enjoy privilege and immunity. They enjoy the privileges and immunities specified in Articles 29 to 35. 29 to 35. Only 36 they cannot enjoy. Except that immunity from civil jurisdiction shall not extend to acts performed outside the course of their duties.